Hey YouTubers, Redfish Ross here. As you can see, I've had quite a few questions and several people asked me to do a short video on my flats boat, bay boat, whatever you want to call it, my saltwater boat, basically. And of course, anybody that's seen my videos have seen this boat a lot. But anyway, we got a bad front coming and wind's blowing about 30 miles an hour, so I figured this would be a good time to give y'all a little view of this bay boat, flats boat really. I don't do much in the bay, but anyway, let's look around and see what we got here. This is a cat hull, which is, as you can see, it's cut through all the way to the back of the boat, and then you have these two pontoons on the outside that makes it a cat, and which makes the boat super stable and makes it take rough water well, and also it makes for a dry ride. Been real happy with this boat. This is a shoal water, which you can see there, made in Port O'Connor, Texas. And it's the 14.5-foot cat, which is catamaran. Unfortunately, they don't make this little boat anymore. They make a 16 and on up to, I don't know, pretty big, 24, 26, whatever. But they quit making this one, which is kind of sad because I know quite a few people that, well, I say quite a few, I know probably 4 people that have these boats that bought them roughly the same time I did, and everybody loves them. Nobody's gotten rid of any of them. This boat is 11 years old. Trailer's 11 years old, which it's getting to the point where I'm gonna have to start thinking in the not too distant future about replacing it. It's hard to fight this corrosion in this salt water, but I've done a pretty good job to make it last that long. Some more graphics on the boat there. But anyway, it's a pretty standard rig as far as, this would be called a scooter boat in this part of the country. Other places, they may call them something else, I don't know. But it's pretty standard. It's got a big console, all the gauges. I got a depth finder, it's really the only thing I've added to it. 18-gallon fuel tank. That is an Optima starting battery, which we'll talk more about that in a little bit, about Optima batteries. This used to be a fish box. I turned it into dry storage because it's so big and heavy to get in and out of the boat. And then this is more dry storage and a seat, of course. Keep all the basics in there, knives and all that stuff. The only other storage on this boat is this front up here, which is halfway decent, but it's also not dry. So I keep stuff in there. It doesn't matter if it gets wet. Drift socks and all that good stuff. Buoy markers, stuff like that. This boat is, I just can't even tell you how happy I've been with this boat. It has really been good, and they are super well made. I mean, this thing is, like I say, it's 11 years old, and it has been fished a lot. And it's still, just like the day I bought it, pretty much. This is an E-Tech 60 horse that I just bought like 8 months ago, whatever it was. The original motor was a 50 E-Tech, and I ran it for 10 years, and I never did anything but put oil and gas in it. It's amazing. They're amazing motors. They came out with, I guess a year ago when I bought this one, they came out again and offered the 6 years of warranty, so I figured it was time to go ahead and upgrade. So I bumped up to the 60, and I sold the 50 horse to a buddy of mine. He put it on a pontoon boat, and he's still running it, and it still runs like the day it was purchased. This boat will run so shallow, it's scary. And the reason for that, if you look down here, you can see the cat part of the hull is here, which comes all the way from the very front where I showed you earlier. And it also goes up in there. But then you have this secondary tunnel here. And you can jack this thing up. It's got the hydraulic jack on it. You can jack this thing up and run literally in water that wouldn't go over the top of your tennis shoes. This little deal here, I bought a year ago. Been trying to find one that would, where you didn't have to drill and cut holes in your boat. And just so happened I was looking at a fishing magazine and I saw an advertisement for this stick pin, which you can see here. This is the pin part. And this thing is, man, this is a cat's meow here. This thing goes in here, and you got that little stop. If you want to leave it in there all the time, you can pick it up where it's not dragging in the water. But if you get somewhere you want to stop and set up, you can, all you got to do is grab that thing and shove it straight down and stick it in the mud. And this pole, I don't know what it's made of. It's some kind of composite carbon fiber. I don't know what it is. But I took off one day with that thing stuck in the mud. And they say they're unbreakable, and I think I proved that day. I just completely forgot about it. I was all wound up catching fish, and I put the test to it, and it didn't break, so I guess they were right. This thing, I use it mainly when I'm fishing and the wind's blowing pretty hard, and you stick a fish, especially a good redfish, takes a while to get in, and you can stick this in the mud and keep you from drifting through where the fish are, and also makes it a little easier to fight the fish, because invariably they're going to run around and go upwind, and you're going to be fighting the fish in the boat. So yeah, I've been real happy with that, and these things are reasonably priced. It works really good. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Everything's on my nickel, so that's just the way it is. The hydraulic jack plate, which is, it's the same age as the boat. Up and down with the switch. Set it wherever you want to set it. I normally keep it about right there. It'll run plenty shallow with it sitting there where it's sitting. The trolling motor, this is a great white 5-speed, 10 years old, never had a day's problem out of it. I just bought a brand new one for the lake boat, and they don't make this 5-speed anymore. They make a variable speed, which is like a rheostat, and second trip out it crapped out, so I'm not real sure about that design, but they sent me a new trolling motor, so, and I've had it out like 3 times and it's still going, so hopefully that was just a freak, so we'll find out. Another Optima battery. This is the Blue Top, which is a deep cycle marine battery. This battery is relatively new. I can't say enough good things about these batteries. They're real expensive. That battery right there is like $250, but the original one that I just replaced was 9 years old. And if you can find a marine battery that'll give you 9 years of service as much as I fish, it's pretty amazing, I think. So I never got over 2 or 3 years out of a regular battery, and the regular marine batteries are big and they're heavy and bulky, and this is that, they call it spiral cell technology. I don't know what it is. It'll run a trolling motor all day long and never lose power. They're amazing little batteries, so I've been real impressed with them. Let's see, is there anything else? Well, the norther's here. It's starting to rain, so that's one of the reasons we're doing this today. The old trailer's still in relatively good shape to be 10 years in saltwater. I've kept it doped up with stuff, trying to keep the corrosion off of it. But as anybody that messes around in saltwater much knows, that's pretty much a losing battle in the end. So, I can't, not much else going on here. This is my little deal where I keep all my anti-corrosion stuff for the motor and all that stuff. Optima battery charger, which is amazing. It's like a mini computer. And I run this XD100, which is pure synthetic. And this motor uses so little oil and gas, it's unbelievable. That gallon right there, and as much as I fish, lasted a year. And that's a lot of running, a lot of gas for 1 year of fishing. And last but not least, I wanted to take just a minute to thank all my subscribers. I started this over a year ago, and not having great computer skills, knowing a lot about cameras, and knowing zero about editing software. But it's all come along pretty good. I've got a pretty good handle on it now, and some of my subscribers have been with me since the very first video, and that's pretty amazing. 'Cause like I said, I was stumbling and fumbling trying to figure out, a lot of this stuff, and it worked out eventually. Like I said, I don't have any sponsors. I don't get paid by YouTube. I don't get anything. I do this strictly for entertainment value for people, and also little bits of knowledge here and there for anybody that ask any questions or want to know anything about what I do, or techniques or lures or whatever. Like I said, nobody has all the answers, and you just do what you can. And I'm 62, been doing this since I was 4, and I sure don't claim to be an expert at nothing. I've learned enough that I catch some fish, and that's about all I can say about it. A lot of this is done, I kind of wanted to leave a legacy for my family, so that when I'm gone, they could go back and say, hey, there's my dad, there's my brother, son, whatever, and something that, just leave something behind when you're gone. I've had some questions also. I want to address this right quick. I've had some questions about why I haven't been making kayak videos, and the reason for that is I came down with a disease 8 months ago that I'm not going to go into it, bore you with the details. It's not a life-threatening disease, but it is a life-changing disease. And I've been through several doctors. Everybody says, except the last one, said there was no cure. The last one says there is a cure. And we're going to find out in the not too distant future, but it does not allow me to get out early. If you'll notice, my latest videos have all been bright sunshine and midday stuff. And it really, for kayak fishing, if I can't get out early, it doesn't work out very well, because you're usually dealing with wind, you're dealing with whatever. And still got the kayak sitting there. I miss it dearly, and hopefully if I can get this disease under control, I will go back to making kayak videos along with all the other videos that I make. Once again, I want to thank my subscribers, and like I said, I appreciate the support. Since day one, I've got like 81 videos in the last, right at a year. And amazingly, I've never had one bad comment. which in this day and age, with all the haters and people, it just blows my mind that nobody has ever made a bad comment about any of my videos or anything that I've done. And I do appreciate that. I mean, nobody likes to hear bad things, but it happens. But the people that subscribe to my channel and watch me, I think are a lot like me in the fact that, you know, they appreciate the little things, and I would never disparage somebody for trying to do something like make a fishing video or whatever. I don't care how good it is, how bad it is, whatever. You know, they're trying. So anyway, that's about that. And thanks again to everybody, and I hope everybody has a great holiday season. Catch a lot of fish. Redfish Ross out.